Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mystery Files, where we delve into the strange and paranormal stories from around the world. Whether you've heard these tales before or they're completely new to you, I promise the experience here will be unlike any other scary story video on YouTube. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the mysteries that await.
I was a young boy, living in the heart of the USA. Eager for adventure, I decided to go camping alone in a dense forest one night. As I set out, rain began to pour, drenching me and the surrounding woods. Despite the weather, I pushed forward, determined to experience the thrill of a solo campout. As the rain subsided, the forest was cloaked in a dense mist, creating an eerie atmosphere. Undeterred, I set up my tent and built a small fire, hoping to ward off the chill creeping into my bones. However, the mist seemed to amplify the feeling of being watched, and shadows danced ominously on the walls of my tent, just when things were about to settle down. Suddenly, I heard faint chanting echoing through the trees. Curiosity piqued. I cautiously approached the source of the sound. Through the thick mist, I saw a group of cloaked figures gathered around a flickering fire, their faces obscured by darkness. In their midst stood a tall, imposing figure, its silhouette unnaturally elongated. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly intensity, piercing through the darkness with an unsettling gleam. As I squinted to get a better look, I noticed its hands, gnarled and skeletal, looking as though they belonged to something long dead. It was a sight that chilled me to the core. Before I could comprehend what I was witnessing, I was spotted by the cultists. With terror coursing through my veins, I bolted through the forest, branches clawing at my skin as I fled. The cultists pursued me relentlessly, their chants growing louder with each passing moment. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I finally broke free from the relentless pursuit. Gasping for breath, I stole a glance back into the depths of the forest. Amidst the shroud of mist, I could still make out the silhouette of the tall, inhuman figure standing motionless, its gaze fixed upon me with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Despite the distance between us, a sense of dread lingered, etching the image of that ominous figure into my mind as I fled deeper into the safety of the night. In the days that followed, news of my harrowing ordeal spread like wildfire, reigniting rumors of sinister forces lurking in the forest. Determined to uncover the truth, local authorities launched a thorough investigation. Despite initial skepticism, the discovery of strange markings and remnants of ritualistic gatherings scattered throughout the forest piqued their interest. Furthermore, interviews with nearby residents revealed a pattern of unexplained disappearances and sightings of shadowy figures. With mounting evidence pointing towards foul play, investigators intensified their efforts. Eventually, they stumbled upon a hidden stash of drugs concealed within the forest, linking the supposed paranormal occurrences to a group of cunning criminals. As the truth came to light, the once feared forest was revealed to be nothing more than a backdrop for human greed and deception. While the mystery of the mist-shrouded cult may have been debunked, the memory of that fateful night would forever haunt me and the residents of the nearby town.
My husband's family and I embarked on a camping trip to a remote lake nestled in the heart of New Mexico. With around 10 of us in our group and another 6 in the neighboring campsite, we anticipated a weekend of shared laughter and outdoor adventures. As night descended upon us, both groups indulged in typical camping activities, roasting marshmallows, enjoying a few drinks, and swapping stories around the crackling fire. However, our peaceful evening took a chilling turn when we heard the unmistakable sound of a little girl crying out for help. Baffled, as there were no children in either of our groups, we exchanged concerned glances before collectively deciding to investigate the source of the distressing cries. With cautious steps, we ventured towards the field behind our campsites, where the sound seemed to originate. In the dim moonlight, we were startled to see a towering, ghostly figure standing eerily amidst the field, its pallid form contrasting sharply against the darkness. Towering at about 6 feet tall. Strangely, the figure seemed to emit the haunting cries of a little girl, sending shivers down our spines. Driven by curiosity and concern, we cautiously approached the mysterious entity. Yet, as we drew nearer, the enigmatic figure began to retreat, slowly fading into the shadows of the surrounding trees until it vanished from sight. Throughout the night, the haunting cries of the unseen girl echoed persistently, disrupting our attempts to find rest. As dawn broke, our group packed up hastily, eager to leave the unsettling atmosphere behind. Upon returning home, we couldn't shake the unsettling experience from our minds. Curiosity piqued, we delved into the history of the area, only to discover that the remote lake was infrequently visited for camping and was known for recent incidents of robbery and illegal activity. Questions lingered in our minds. Was the apparition we encountered merely a ploy to lure unsuspecting campers into danger? Or was it something more supernatural, lurking within the shadows of Lake Serenity? The truth remained elusive, leaving us with a lingering sense of unease and a chilling reminder of the mysteries that shroud the wilderness.
As a young boy, I was thrilled to be embarking on a camping adventure with my family in our trusty RV van. The open road stretched before us, promising adventure and memories to be made. But little did we know, our journey would soon take a dark and sinister turn. As we traveled along the winding roads, I couldn't shake the feeling of unease creeping over me. A car seemed to be following us, mirroring our every move with unsettling precision. Each turn we took, they followed closely behind, their presence looming ominously in our rearview mirror. Despite my growing apprehension, we pressed on towards our camping site. But just as we neared our destination, disaster struck. Our van skidded suddenly, sending a shiver of dread down my spine. Upon inspection, we discovered a puncture hole in our tire, a size far too large to be caused by mere chance. As my father began changing the damaged tire, I glanced outside and noticed the same car parked nearby. A hooded figure lurked in its shadows, casting wary glances in our direction. Though I alerted my parents to the unsettling sight, we brushed it off, eager to continue our journey with music, games, and laughter. The day was filled with excitement as we set up camp near the RV. We fired up the barbecue, the sizzle of the grill filling the air with mouth-watering scents. We laughed and played games, enjoying the warmth of the campfire in the company of loved ones. But as night fell and exhaustion began to set in, I decided to call it an early night. Snuggled up in my tent, I drifted off to sleep, the events of the day still fresh in my mind. Suddenly, I was jolted awake by strange noises echoing through the darkness outside my tent. It sounded like someone was walking around the campsite, their footsteps crunching on the fallen leaves. A shiver ran down my spine as a sense of fear and unease washed over me.
Who could be wandering around our camp at this hour?
Tentatively, I called out for my parents, hoping it was one of them walking outside for some reason. But they picked up the call, their voices sounding muffled through the phone as they confirmed that they were all inside the van. Panic surged within me as I realized that the eerie sounds outside were not caused by any of them. My parents, understanding the urgency of the situation, peered out of the window to find a shadowy figure standing ominously outside my tent. With fear gripping their hearts, they urgently relayed the command through the phone, "Run." Without a moment's hesitation, I burst out of the tent, fueled by adrenaline and sheer terror, my heart pounding in my ears. Every muscle in my body screamed for me to run faster as I sprinted with all my might, the sound of footsteps pounding close behind me. The darkness seemed to swallow me whole as I raced through the night, the fear of the unknown propelling me forward. With every step, the feeling of dread intensified, urging me to keep running, to escape whatever lurked in the shadows behind me. With trembling hands, I reached the safety of the van just as a hooded figure emerged from the darkness, a weapon glinting in the moonlight. With adrenaline coursing through my veins, I watched in terror as he attempted to open the door. But in a moment of sheer desperation, my father slammed the van into gear and peeled away from danger. As we sped off into the night, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread that lingered in the air. Despite alerting the authorities and scouring CCTV footage for clues, the identity of the hooded person remains a mystery. But the memory of that harrowing night serves as a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the safety of our campfire's glow.